Hello everybody and welcome back, and let us continue from where we stopped in the previous video. So let us first of all check out what we did for now on. What we did is basically we sought the destination MAC address, the source MAC address and the protocol which we got from our Ethernet header. Now we also set the data to be the remaining data with the stripped Ethernet header further on, and what we want to do right now is print all the stuff that we actually got. So first of all we will print something like this. So first few lines, Ethernet header, then remaining lines. So this is just so it can be a little bit prettier. After that, we want to print first the destination MAC address, which will be the strings from the dest MAC variable, and then the source MAC address. So print, and in the print statement, we want to select destination MAC, two dots, %s, and then basically two dots, %s. We just find where the percent is, and then repeat this for the 3 times since we typed it twice. So let me just copy this and paste it 2 more times. Also add the 2 dots between these 2 s's where it is missing, and here we have the actual pattern for the MAC address. So destination MAC, and now we need to add the values to these %s's, which we can do with the % and then open brackets dest_mac. We take the first 2 elements, so until the second element, or pardon me, third element, then the dest_mac from the second to the fourth, dest_mac from the fourth to the actual sixth, dest_mac from the sixth to the eighth. And further on, let me just copy this so I don't really type it 2 more times. I will just switch the numbers. So copy, paste, and paste once again. Then I will add the comma first of all so we can separate them. So add comma right here. Also add comma right here and switch those numbers to be from 8 to 10. And from actual 10 to 12. So also close the normal bracket at the end. And if I'm not mistaken, this should be good, so we will be able to actually print the actual Ethernet header or the destination MAC address for now on. What we want to do is copy this entire line, and we'll just switch the things that we need for the source MAC address. So copy it, go right here, let me just go right here, enter and paste. And first thing we want to change is the dest to be to the source. So each dest change to be source, since that is the name of our source MAC address variable. So source, right here also, source, and right here, source. And also right here in the string itself, we want to print not the destination, we want to print source MAC. So everything is good for now on. All we need to specify once again is the actual protocol, which we will use the %HU for actually printing out the protocol itself, which will be a hexadecimal number which will represent the next protocol attached to the Ethernet header. And then afterwards, if we will check if it is 8, if it is, that means it is an IPv4 protocol, and then we will go to the IP header. So first of all, we need to print it first before checking it. So print protocol. And then 2 dots, we can specify the %HU. And then afterwards, we need to specify the % and then the variable which we want to specify instead of this, which is the proto variable. So specify proto. And right now, afterwards, we can actually perform a check function to check if the proto is equal to the hexadecimal. Proto is equal to the hexadecimal of 8. So first of all, not 2, we want to perform 1/8. If it is, however, that means it is an IPv4 and we want to actually print IP bool, or not print, we want to set the IP bool to be equal to true. So this is a variable that we set at the beginning of function to be equal to false. And right now, since this is the protocol, we want to set it to be equal to true. Since any other protocols we do not really care about, for example, if we get the ARP protocol, we will not analyze it since that would take too much of our time. This program by itself is already big enough for us to actually code it in multiple lectures. So all we need to do is check if the protocol is this hexadecimal value or this byte basically, and if it is, it will set the IP bool to be true, and right now all we can do is return from this function. But not return nothing, we need to return the remaining data, since we stripped the Ethernet header right now, so we are returning only the remaining data, and we also want to return the IP bool value, which will be true. If it is equal to false, we will just drop the packet. So let me go down here to where we finished the actual, okay, so here it is. We call the function right here, and all we want to do right now is check if the IP bool value, so go down here, if IP underscore bool, that means it will check if it is true. If it is true, we want to analyze the IP header. So data underscore receive, and then the TCP underscore UDP. Now make sure to do not confuse this data underscore receive with this data underscore receive. Let me just find it. Where did we mention it first time? So this part and this part is not the same anymore. This function right here that we performed is storing the new data value, which will be the data value with the stripped Ethernet header, to this variable right here. So right now what we are pasting to this function right here, that we will code in just a second, is just the remaining of the packet without the Ethernet header. So first of all, we will check the data underscore receive and the TCP UDP, which is a variable that we will call in order to check out whether the program will be whether the packet will contain a TCP or UDP fields. And we will use the function that we will code. So analyze underscore IP underscore header, and we paste to that function the data underscore receive. We close the brackets, and all we need to do right now is actually code the else statement before we call the function. So if IP bool is equal to false, we just want to return, and we don't care about the packet anymore, since, as I said, all we want is the IP header to be found in our Ethernet header. So right now all we need to do is code the actual IP header function, or the function that will actually analyze IP header. So let us call it the same, def analyze underscore IP underscore header, and we paste to that function data underscore receive. So first of all, in order to check the available actual fields in the IP header, we can use KP library. Just for a brief overview of the IP header, so you can see there are much more fields in this header than in the Ethernet header. Basically, in the Ethernet header, all we had was the source MAC address, the destination MAC address, and the protocol. And right here, what we have is a bunch of other fields that we also need to cover. So what we need to actually realize is how much of the bytes we need to give to every single field. So let me just close this right here and go to my Python programs and packet sniffer, and then on my sniff packets.py. Right here under the analyze IP header, we need to split the IP header into different fields. So right here, first of all, we need to unpack it. So struct.unpack, and in there, if you remember, we need to specify the actual amount of bytes that we want to actually get from this IP header, and also we want to specify the data receive to be equal to the first 20 bytes. So first of all, we need to specify data underscore receive to be equal to the first 20 bytes from the actual data stripped from the Ethernet header. And right here, in order to select that, we need to specify exclamation mark 6H 4S and then 4S. So basically what this will do is, if you are concerned about this part right here, as well as this part right here, also you can just go to the struct tables and check out these values of the code itself. So these are just a bunch of the different interpretations for different values for the actual data that we are parsing to this function. So the next thing we want to do is actually split the IP header into all different fields, but we will do that in the next tutorial, since that will take a little bit more time, so we don't make it too long. And then we will print each of the fields into the IP header statement, as well as checking out for the next protocol that is running, whether it is TCP or whether it is a UDP protocol. In case it is none of them, we will just select it to be other, and then we will return the data, or the remaining data, that we will actually strip from the IP header after we actually print everything out, and we will also return the TCP UDP as a value for the next function. So hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope I see you in the next one. Bye.